Welcome back to Finding God in Fiction. It is February, so we are talking about a romance book, which is The Rom-Commers by Katherine. This so far is my favorite Katherine book that I've read. I really like our main female character in this book. Her name is Emma, and she is a romance writer. Her life situation is just honestly just not ideal. She is her father's caregiver, and she hasn't really found her lane in terms of her career and her writing. I just want to read a little quote that just really encapsulates her character. She says, "You had to maximize joy when it fluttered into your life. You had to honor it and savor it, and not to stomp it to death by reminding everyone of everything you'd lost." And she very much approaches every situation with this concept of maximizing joy. Some of it is masking what's really going on, and that's a lot of what she the journey that she goes on, kind of discovers that in a lot of ways she's been shoving down her feelings and emotions. Honestly, I wish that sometimes these books where we're seeing great character development were Christian fiction books, because I'm like, oh my gosh, if this character only got saved, if this character only knew Jesus, she would have a very clear roadmap to understanding how to get from this place of masking her emotions to this place of fully experiencing her grief and joy at the same time. But as Christians, I think it's really important for us to remember that emotions are godly. Now, that doesn't mean that every emotion should be treated as if it is God. That's not what I'm saying here. What I'm saying is that God gave us emotions, and that God feels emotions too. God feels grief and joy and happiness and anger, and all of these emotions that we feel, God also feels. The difference is that God knows how to express them perfectly because he's God, and we don't because we're human. What I kind of took away, or a little bit of a takeaway from this, is we don't always know how to express our emotions, which is why it's so important that we are not led or guided by our emotions, but instead we take our thoughts captive and we take our emotions captive. We allow ourselves to feel what we feel, and then we express through a lens of discernment and through a lens of biblical truth. The other incredible thing about living submitted to the Holy Spirit is that the joy of the Lord never leaves us. So even in the suffering, even in the pain, even when life is throwing so much craziness at us, we can continue to rest in the joy of the Lord, which doesn't always feel like happiness, but it always feels like contentment in knowing who we are, who God is, and who he sees us as.